Hey everybody and welcome to the bullshit party. Wait, no explosion? Well, that's disappointing. Anyway, since we have a new podium vehicle, it's time to do a challenge for it. And this week's podium challenge is gonna be... Wait, I think it's better to show you. First, we need to be in the vehicle in order to do a challenge with it. Simple, right? Secondly, we need... And now you explode. As I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, this week's challenge is going to consist of 3 parts. We're starting at the Los Santos airport and we need to make our way up to the military base. Once there, we're going to pause the timer to check the 3rd location we're going to go to, the deserted airfield. And as soon as that waypoint's set, I need to follow more or less this road and get to this point. Now here's the tricky part. Unlike the other 2 airports where I just needed to be there and just pass by, here I need to do an entire lap. And the timer's gonna stop as soon as I stop the finish line, which is right about here. The time for completion for this challenge is gonna be 7 minutes. But bullshit, that's a weird number, how'd you come up with it? I'll tell you in a little bit. For now, let's just set our first waypoint and get started with the challenge. And we're off to the races. Challenges. And I'm sure you've noticed it's nighttime this time. And the reason for that is I wanted to change things up for this one. If you've seen this type of challenge before, I've done it, but it was a little bit different, he said, waiting for the gate to open. And the other 2 challenges that I did on this route, I needed to do laps inside the airports of both this one and the military base. And because I wanted to streamline things a little bit, I removed those 2 and removed 3 minutes from the timer from the original 10 minutes. So that's the reason for the 7-minute time limit for this one. And because I've done the route several times during the day, I sort of know it by now. And I wanted to be fair to this vehicle, I wanted to make things challenging for myself, so I decided to do it at night, so I couldn't see. As you can see, so far my plan's working perfectly. One more crash and we can scrap the entire thing. And speaking of that, this is a one-shot type of deal. Just like all the other challenges, if I screw something up here, that's what it is. It's all gonna be counted down towards the completion or failure of the challenge. And speaking of challenges, I'm gonna post my last challenge right here in case you wanna watch it after you watch this one. But unlike the heart-pumping, fast-paced action in this one, the last one was kind of slow. And before you start insulting me again in the comment section, sticks and stones. Hopefully that doesn't give you any ideas. But if it does, let me know in the comment section. But hopefully it doesn't. And I have to say, aside from the first major crash that took probably 30 seconds to recover from, I think we're doing good on time. Or was that entire sentence a contradiction? My point is, we're almost out of the city on the highway, and as soon as that happens, this car's gonna shine. All I need to do is suppress the urge to crash into everything for a couple of more seconds, and we'll be golden. Speed was definitely something this car was made for. And in case you're asking yourself, but he's talking about a specific car, but what is it? Well, it's this week's podium vehicle, and it's the Autarch. Pretty fun car, is near the top of the supercar list, and I'm not gonna bore you with all the details, but I did make an in-depth review of it yesterday, and I'm gonna post it right here in case you wanna see it. Back to the challenge. This is, I think, the most challenging part. Even though I don't think it translates well to video, driving in these conditions was horrible. Not only was I constantly checking the time and the map, but I was also constantly fighting the darkness, and even though the car has pretty good headlights, it didn't help much. I want to preface the following by saying, it wasn't my fault, the game was out to get me. So in my eyes, my perfect driving record is still intact. At this point, we're literally one turn away from the midpoint of the challenge. And looking at the timer, this is gonna be a close one. Oh yeah, and it doesn't help that the Autarch doesn't have the best brakes. Some of you might even say it doesn't have the best driver either, but I'm gonna stick with the brakes. Aside from that, the car's been absolutely flawless. And as soon as we go past the barrier, the timer's gonna pause and resume as soon as we exit the military base. And what we need to do when we're in the military base is just go to the starting line, which is going to be just before the barrier right here. Stop the car right there, so we're ready to go as soon as we exit the map. Go to the map, go to the third airfield, and mark it with a waypoint. That was me overcompensating for what happened in the beginning. And with that, we're ready to resume the challenge. And quickly peeking at the night sky, it appears that it's not going to be raining, which is going to be a nice change of pace compared to the other 2 times I've done this challenge. But I guess anything can happen, and we have a lot of time on the clock left. And one of the things that I love about GTA 5 is how detailed it is. For example, how your GPS loses signal when you go in a tunnel. And this is a game that at this point is 2 generations old. It's still impressive and detailed even by today's standards. Not really much to say here, I'm just paying attention and trying not to crash into anything. Worst thing that can happen here is if I crash into an oncoming car and it throws me off the road. If that happens, the challenge is probably gonna be over. And looking at the clock, it's gonna be tight even without that happening. And here we are, just a couple of more corners and then we need to do a lap around the airfield. Looks good so far, we have a minute left, so it's probably gonna be enough. That said, I've been wrong before, so let's just see what happens. And a quick check to see how the headlights are holding up. 6 out of 8, not bad, especially for my driving. And it looks we're gonna be fine on time, so I'm just gonna assume we're gonna win. I can't stress enough how fun this car is to drive. Aside from the shoddy brakes, it's excellent. And not to mention, it looks like $1 million, even though it costs 2. But keep in mind that saying was created when $1 million was worth $1 million. And we're a couple of seconds away, literally 1 corner away from the finish line, and I start getting excited, I forget to press the brakes, and this happens. A fitting end to a fitting challenge, on a fitting channel. Everything's fitting. As you can see, the final time is 6 minutes and 35 seconds, which puts us 25 seconds below the 7-minute part time. And I have to say, I'm very happy with the result. And if you want to do this challenge yourself, make sure you do so and post your time in the comment section down below. Or just, you know, lie like everyone else. And with that, I found a new toy and this will bring an end to this video. Thank you so much to everybody who watched, hopefully you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please don't forget to leave it a like. Even if you hated it, like it anyway, who cares. Subscribe if you're new to the channel and want to see cool new content come out every week. And with all that, I'll catch you guys in the next one. I feel really good about this. Feels like nothing can go wrong.